Ed Wood. Now, every film student knows Ed Wood, who was voted, I think in 1980, 2 years after he died, he was voted the worst Hollywood filmmaker ever. And I'm sure he'd be proud of that title. And he was awful. The film does not hide the fact that he was awful at directing films, but his enthusiasm, his love for film, and he's just embracing and it's fascinating. You basically see his story basically just working out how to get a film made, how to con people into paying for his low budget, awful little films. It could have been decent if he'd actually known how to direct a film. Some of them could have been decent. They had Bela Lugosi, Vampira, some wrestler guy. They had people lining up to help them because they all were just sold on his idea of the dream, whatever particular story he was wanting to tell. He was inspiring by his enthusiasm, but he just had no freaking talent. Really, just the most basic things would screw up, and he'd be like, "That'll work." And I'm like, "No." Even the producers, some of the producers were like people from a church who. He convinced them that if you pay for my little science fiction film, you'll make so much money that we'll be able to make 12, films that, because they want to make a Jesus film. And he's like, if you make my film, we'll make so much money, you can make 12 films about God. And even they are standing there like saying, the guy bumped into the set and it fell over. Why didn't you reshoot that? And he's like, no one will notice that. It's just so over the top. So yeah, like I said, any film student studied him because we all knew he was the worst filmmaker ever and he was just famous. And they had Bela Lugosi being played by Martin Landau, who does a great job. Of course, we have Johnny Depp playing Ed Wood, and Sarah Jessica Parker playing his really bitchy, unsupportive girlfriend, who's replaced by the wonderful girlfriend played by Patricia Arquette, who marries him and stays with him his whole life through his later alcoholism as his career went nowhere. He made, I think, 3 films that were there's 2 films that are famous for being bad, but on a level that just has to be enjoyed. Plan 9 from Outer Space and Glen or Glenda. Now, I watched Glen or Glenda a little while ago as part of a gay marathon, and it holds up reasonably well. There's some weirdness and strangeness to it, but it's an interesting film. Plan 9 from Outer Space, I haven't watched it since I saw it in film school, so that was a long time ago. I would like to watch it again, but I'm sure it's awful, but maybe I can enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it the first time. I wasn't one of those people who enjoyed how bad it was. I watched it with a friend who also was a student, and we watched a lot of Lynch films together, and anything that sort of came up in film school that we were supposed to have watched, we sort of watched together, and we were just like, wow, that was bad. So bad it's good, but I still couldn't appreciate it on that level, so I'd like to watch it again sometime. But yeah, okay. Yeah. You gotta love his enthusiasm. You gotta love that he managed to get films made in Hollywood. He actually managed to get money out of people. But he came so close to maybe make a couple of decent films. It's a pity that he really didn't have any talent. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I don't know if the film made any money. I don't think it did. I probably should have Googled it before I started talking. But just as I'm winding down, I think I'll ask that. Ed Wood. Did I mention who was in it? Sarah Jessica Parker plays the girlfriend. Yeah, I did. Bill Murray plays an effeminate gay co-worker who wanted to have a sex change but doesn't end up doing it. There's a few other cameos in it as well. I can't remember all though. But did it make any money? No, not Ed Wood the person, Ed Wood the film. Wikipedia's not working with me. Did it make any money? I'm very curious. $18 million budget, $13.8 million. I love Tim Burton, but I don't know how he stayed working in Hollywood. I know he had films like Batman that were big hits, but so many of his artistically sound and interesting and great films didn't make any money. Like this film, okay, 13 million, so some people went to see it, but it made less than it cost. And sort of the same thing with Mars Attacks. It cost 80 to 100 million, it made 100 million. I don't know how he got as many films made as he did, but I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Ed Wood, his legacy in the film. I hated just Sarah Jessica Parker in this, and the best part in this film, which is epic, and I have to mention to a friend of mine, is when she's playing the character who's in a play with Ed, because they do some plays first. and he does cast her and stuff. And then there's this funny moment where, in order to get the funding from this actress, he gives her the role the girlfriend's supposed to have, and she just rages. And then you find out later that this actress didn't even have the money. She gave him every cent she had. He thought that was a deposit. That was every cent she had. So he gave up her role for nothing, basically. He still had to fund the film. But yeah, she was horrible to him. And they're going through the reviews, and she's reading about her. She said, "Do I really look like a horse? Or do I really have a face like a horse?" And I'm like, ooh, because that was the joke about Sarah Jessica Parker. People who would trash her would say she had a horse face. And I'm like, that's so mean. And I had friends who would say that, even though they're supposed to be fans and like Sex and the City. And the fact that they addressed it in the movie like that, I'm like, wow, obviously Sarah Jessica doesn't give any fucks. So, proud of it.